Kolatkar focuses on not only the priest but also the other people who are there. He's not only focused on the temples, the temple town, but also the inhabitants of it. And in this poem, an old woman, he focuses on one of them. An old woman grabs hold of your sleeve and tags along. She wants a 50 paise coin. She says she will take you to the horseshoe shrine. You've already seen it. You've seen it already. She hobbles along anyway, tightens her grip on your shirt. She won't let you go. You know how old women are. They stick to you like a burr. Talks about again the desperation of the situation, right? So that's why I was repeating in the earlier lectures that it's very easy to mistake that, and then some of the earlier criticisms of Kolatkar's Jejuri was that it's written from an atheist's point of view and he doesn't believe in religion. It's kind of like anthropological gaze or an objective outsider gaze. The person does not is a detached observer in all that. But if you look at it, this section here, it tells you of Kolatkar, the poet speaker's empathy towards the inhabitants of the space. As I was saying, much like the priest, the poet here understands the desperation of the people itself. She just wants a 50 paise coin. And like the only source of income that they have, she can show you a part of the town probably which you did not know, but Kolatkar says you have seen it already. You've already seen it. There is nothing that you don't know about that place. But because she wants 50 paise, you agree to go with her. So it's amusing. It's that sardonic humor, which also brings out the desperation of those who are living there. In that way you get to see Kolatkar trying to help this old woman, and she tightens her grip because the desperation is very real, because she does not want him to get away. So she is holding as tightly as she can possible, and she wants to show him the horseshoe shrine. She won't let you go. You turn around and face her with an air of finality. You want to end the farce. When you hear her say, "What else can an old woman do on hills as wretched as these?" you look right at the sky. So you're like, you are irritated, he says, and then we'll talk about this second person persona in a bit. He says that you are irritated, that like, what are you showing me? There is nothing to see in that sense. Like, she's just inventing something so that she can have income. We are again reminded of the priest itself, right? So the priest who's also thinking that will there be puran poli on his plate. You also see that that's what the woman is also trying to do, and she says, "What else can an old woman do on hills as wretched as these?" It hits you like a finality, that air of finality. What is supposed to be a celebration, right? A pilgrimage is also a celebration of spirituality, religion itself. Kolatkar brings out the desperation of people who are living there. Probably we, in our focus on looking at the deity, offering our own pujas and all the rest of the and to gain punya, we tend to forget about these people who make the temple town, who probably stay at the temple town. As a pilgrim, you go and come back. You don't have stakes in that sense. But then this person has to live there, and that's what she's saying. What else can I do? I can only think of a way of earning my income, and in on hills as wretched as these, what is the other way of doing it? I'm an old woman, I can't move around, and she hobbles, as we are told. She hobbles along anyway, and she will not let you go because she wants that 50 paise. You look right at the sky, clear through the bullet holes she has for eyes. Again, you see that many of these characteristics are drawn from the earlier poems. So, if you think about the poem on the bus, you had the old man whose through whose glasses Kolatkar could see himself. Here, you look right at the sky. He looks at the sky through her bullet holes she has for eyes. It's talking about her emaciated nature. Probably she doesn't get enough to eat, right? So that's why she's cursing these hills also, and that's why the desperation with which she hangs on to the poet. And you can see that's why it's called the bullet holes, like it's the eyes have sunken inside due to lack of food and nutrition. So so you can look right through the sky. So it's actually, there are no eyes in that sense, there are holes that have been that have become the eyes have become holes, so you can actually look through it. Such penetrating an image, it can shake the reader itself. As you look on, and then from here on the fantastical begins, and as you look on, the cracks that begin around her eyes spread beyond her skin, and the hills crack, the temples crack, and the sky falls with a plate glass clatter around the shatterproof crone who stands alone, and you are reduced to so much small change in her hand. And Kolatkar imagines the depravity here, that if this is the condition of people living here, and you can see the sky here, and then he says you can see the cracks now about institutionalized religion, people who uphold it, cracks begin. The hills crack, the temples crack, the sky falls. It's an apocalyptic image almost. Apocalyptic image here that you get to see. One sees a very fantastical image, that like cracks that begin from her around her eyes, and then it spreads beyond her skin. So in that sense, he's treating the old woman as a representative of the state of affairs in Jejuri in that sense. And also he's probably asking a much more deeper question. If these people are unhappy, these people who take care of the town itself, thanks to which people can go and like visit the place, if these people are in this kind of a condition, what happens to the idea of religion then? Who takes care of it, right? And therefore it spreads beyond her skin, and the hills crack, the temples crack, the sky falls with a plate glass shatter around the shatterproof crone who stands alone. Only the crone is able to survive this. It's an apocalyptic image that like everything has come down to nothing. It just breaks down entirely, the entire machinery breaks down. And after this fantastical, you have the ordinary, because she has asked you to give 50 paise, right? So you just give the 50 paise to get rid of her, and you are reduced to so much small change in her hand. She has done this to other people also. That's what it means. That like, and beyond all this fantastical hyperbolic imagination, this grand narrative and philosophization about religion, world, belonging, one sees a very material reality that is brought home to Kolatkar. And you see this constant fluctuation, and then we talked about this, right, in the earlier poems, that if you look at the, the movement is constantly off between the grand and the ordinary. And we saw how it reflected in the butterfly poem, how it reflected in the bus one, where you start philosophizing about what is outside, what is inside, the ideas of travel and pilgrimage and everything, and then you end up with very ordinary images of what is happening at a temple town itself. And that ordinariness pervades many other poems of this collection itself. One of them is Manohar. Manohar is someone who is accompanied Kolatkar on this journey to Jejuri. The door was open. Manohar thought it was one more temple. That's what you think, like in terms of temple towns, right? There are so many temples around the big temple in that sense, and there are multiple of them. So you just keep going from one temple to the other. And he says the door was open. Manohar thought it was one more temple. He looked aside, wondering which god he was going to find, and he quickly turned away when a wide-eyed calf looked back at him. It isn't another temple, he said. It's just a cowshed. And we might want to look at another poem before that, Heart of Ruin. The roof comes down on Maruti's head. Nobody seems to mind, least of all Maruti himself. Maybe he likes a temple better this way. A mongrel bitch has found a place for herself and her puppies in the heart of ruin. Maybe she likes a temple better this way. The bitch looks at you guardedly, past a doorway cluttered with broken tiles, and the pariah puppies tumble over her. Maybe they like a temple better this way. A black-eared puppy has gone a little too far. A tile clicks under its foot. It's enough to strike terror in the heart of a dung beetle and send him running for cover to the safety of the broken collection box that never did get a chance to get out of under from the crushing weight of the roof beam. No more a place of worship. This place is nothing less than the house of God. And one gets to see a kind of a seriousness that is laced with humor. What does it mean? And then that balance is an incredible balance to maintain for Kolatkar, that you have seriousness about what is happening in terms of religion itself, but also it's laced with humor. And writers have erred for many times on both sides itself. Either it's too serious, an exploration about religion, about the world, about understandings of abstract nature, of why we need religion and religious authority, and the myths and the legends behind it. But also people have poked humor where they have not understood the seriousness of religion and the role of its role in our lives. Kolatkar, with extreme dexterity, can find that balance, and I think that's why people have called Jejuri a modern classic, because it's casual in tone. There is dry humor, there is directness of address itself, but also you see this mixture of seriousness and humor. And there's a wonderful, delicate balance that he's able to maintain. Like this poem on Manohar, and we'll go back to the heart of ruin to think about his conceptualization of religion here in that way. The door was open, as I said. He looked inside, wondering which god he was going to find. He thought like he'll probably he'll has to look, because it's a temple town, but then also many of the temples are in ruins itself. So you have to go in and see what is there, what is not there. He quickly turned away when a wide-eyed calf looked back at him. So once he goes in and he's like, okay, will I find a god inside? He encounters a calf. This isn't another temple, he said, it's just a cowshed. So we don't know two things that might have happened here, right? When again, like any other poem of his, we don't get a resolution here. He tells us that it isn't a temple, it's just a cowshed. Is it a ruin that has become a cowshed? Or did Manohar fall into the pitfall of thinking that every site at a religious place is a temple? We don't know which one is true here. But whatever it is, it provides a very chuckle-worthy resolution at the end. That you go into the temple thinking that you will find God, but then what you see is a calf being there. If it is a ruin that has become a cowshed, it tells us of the neglect that Jejuri has faced. Is the poet trying to, through these humorous encounters, trying to raise awareness about, look, what is happening to our heritage, our ancient temples, temple towns? We have like these places, these old places which should be actually like our heritage sites, have now been reduced to a cowshed. Or if we look at it that this place was supposed to have temples and all those stuff, it also subverts that idea and brings the ordinary amidst the grand, the mythical, just like other poems, just like Priest's Son poem, where the hill was representative of Khandoba, but then it was juxtaposed with a butterfly. Here, if we read it that way, we also find that it subverts that idea that everything is not like supposed to be a temple here. There are also cowsheds here because people live. It's a temple town where people live. People like the old woman, people like the priest's son, the priest themselves, they live. So they will also have a place to keep their herd, keep their animals themselves. And if read from that angle, again, Kolatkar beautifully balances those two worlds. Those two worlds where the ordinary and the high intermingle, intersect each other. We are not told which one it is. Unlike the Heart of the Ruin poem, where we know that it was a temple which has become a place for animals to take rest or find a house. In Manohar, we are not sure whether it was a temple which has become this or it is actually a cowshed. Our hunch might be, the suggestion might be that it probably is a temple, because otherwise Manohar wouldn't have gone there. It's in the vicinity of it. It probably looks like a temple, that's why Manohar went, in that sense, looking for it, opening the door, thinking that he might find something that will be like a temple or a spiritual repose or something of that sort. The hint is there to think that this is what has happened to the temple town. But also, as I said, there is the possibility that like This may be just a cowshed amidst which like pilgrims often tend to mistake, and which is also taken up by other people like the old woman who just is showing them some random sight and is telling some invented story, glorifying these hills as they are, as she says, the wretched hills itself, right? So that's also a possibility, and these many possibilities are explored by Kolatkar here, and many of them give rise to such unexpected encounters which make us chuckle, which bring in a certain amount of humor within the seriousness of discourse about religion itself, and also the way we keep religion, the way we think about religion, the way we treat our religious side, the way we use our religious side. He brings in many of these discourses thanks to his attention towards the ordinary. And this attention towards the ordinary is pervasive because he's not only paying attention to the gods, the pilgrim site that he has come for. You can see his attention is comprehensive. He is not just focusing on the temple, he is focusing on the margins also of the temple. So he's equally invested in the idea of religion in the temple town, and also the margins of it who also make the temple town what it is.